The story of Dhruva. King Uttanapada was the son of Swayambhuva Manu. He had two wives, Suruchi and Suniti. The king was very fond of Suruchi but did not care for Suniti. Suruchi's son was called Uttama and Suniti's son was named Dhruva. One day, Prince Uttama was sitting on his father's lap. Dhruva also wanted to sit on his father's lap, and this was not welcomed by the king. Suruchi scolded Dhruva and told him, "You are not my son, so you are not fit to sit on the king's lap. Worship Lord Vishnu so that you are born as my son, and then you can sit on his lap." This made Dhruva very sad, and he went away crying to his mother Suniti. Suniti told Dhruva, "What your stepmother said is true. Worship Lord Narayana if you aspire to ascend the royal throne like your brother Uttama." Following his mother's advice, Dhruva decided to meditate on God and left his father's capital. Sage Narada came to know about this, and he came to meet Dhruva. Touching Dhruva's head with his hands, the sage said, "You are a child. It is difficult to attain Narayana. Even sages fail to do so. Reconcile yourself to the facts and go home. Tell me the path to attain the highest place in all the three worlds," Dhruva requested sage Narada. "Go to Madhuvana at the holy bank of Yamuna, bathing 3 times in the Kalindi river. Spread a seat of kusha grass and sit there. Doing pranayama, contemplate with a steady mind on Sri Narayana. Visualize the Lord in your mind and never give up meditation." Describing the form of the God and the process of meditation, sage Narada said, "Prasadabi mukam shashvat prasanna vadanekshanam sunasam subruvam charu kapolam surasundaram tarunam ramaniyangam arunoshteshchanadaram pranatashrayanam nrimnam sharanyam karunarnavam Srivatsankam ganashyamam purusham vanamalinam shankachakra gada padmairabivyakta chaturbhujam Kiritinam kundalinam keyura valayanvitam kaustubhabaranagrivam pita kausheya vasasam kanchi kalapa paryastam lasat kanchana nupuram darshaniyatamam shantam manonayana vardhanam padbyam nakhamani shrenya vilasadbyam samarchatam hrit padma karnika dishnyam akramyatmanyavasthitam smayamanam abhidyayet sanuragavalokanam niyate bhutena manasa varadarshabam evam bhagavato rupam subhadram dhyayato manaha nirvritya parayaturnam sampannam na nivartate. Bhagavatam, 4th Skanda, 8th Adhyaya, verses 45 to 52. Which means, the God has a benevolent face, pleasant eyes, a beautiful nose, lovely eyebrows, and charming cheeks. He is lovely, young, and has beautiful limbs and red lips. He is kind to his devotees and verily an ocean of compassion. He has the Srivatsa mark, is dark like a cloud, and has a flower garland around his neck. His 4 arms are adorned with a conch, discus, mace, and lotus. He has a shining crown, earrings, armlets, and bracelets. The Kaustuba gem shines on him, and he is clad in yellow silk. He has a golden girdle and shining golden anklets. He is very calm, and his form is pleasing to the eyes and heart. He is in the mind of his worshippers. His feet, resplendent with a row of gems in the form of his nails, are installed in the lotus-like heart of the devotees. With a steady mind, one should visualize the God, the bestower of boons, as smiling and casting a loving glance. By constantly meditating on the auspicious form of God, the mind is soon immersed in supreme bliss and never returns from there. Narada also taught Dhruva the sacred mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, which should be chanted for 7 days and nights during the meditation. While repeating the sacred mantra, the Lord's worship should be done with water, flowers, fruits, and tulasi. Thus instructed by the sage, Dhruva bowed to him and proceeded to Madhuvana. Sage Narada then went to meet Uttanapada. He found Uttanapada very sad. My little 5-year-old child has left for the forest. Wolves may eat up my child. I am very worried, the king said. Do not worry. He enjoys the protection of the Lord. He will attain great glory and return soon, Narada replied. At Madhuvana, Dhruva bathed in river Yamuna and remained without food. During the first month, he ate only kapita or badara, wood apples or jujube fruits once in every 3 nights and meditated. During the second month, he ate only grass and leaves every 6th day and meditated on God. During the third month, he took water only every 9th day and worshipped the Lord. In the 4th month, he inhaled air only every 12th day. In the 5th month, he stood motionless on one foot and contemplated on God. All the 3 worlds began to shake due to the power of his meditation. When Dhruva controlled his breath, all the guardian deities were agonized for want of breath and approached God Vishnu for protection. Dhruva has completely identified himself with me. He has controlled his breath, and that is why you are finding it difficult to breathe. Do not worry. I will meet Dhruva and ask him to stop the penance, said Lord Narayana. The Lord then sat on Garuda and flew to Madhuvana to meet Dhruva. Dhruva was beholding the brilliant form of the Lord in his heart. Suddenly, the form vanished from his mind. When Dhruva opened his eyes, the Lord was standing in front of him. Dhruva was overwhelmed with joy and prostrated in front of the Lord. He was unable to say anything. The God then graciously touched his cheek with his conch and bestowed divine speech on him. Dhruva stood before Lord Narayana with joined palms and glorified the Lord eloquently in 12 beautiful verses. The well-known verses spoken by Dhruva are contained in the 9th chapter of the 4th skanda of the Bhagavatam. The first 3 verses sung by Dhruva are Yonta pravishya mama vacha mimam prasuptam sanjeevayatyakila shakti daraswadamna अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम् एकस्त्वमेव भगवन् इदमात्मशक्त्या मायाख्ययोरुगुणया महदाद्यशेषं सृष्ट्वानुविश्य पुरुषस्तदसद्गुणेषु नानेव दारुषु विभावसुवद्विभासि त्वद्दत्तया वयुनयेदमचष्टविश्वं सुप्तप्रबुद्ध इव नाथ भवत्प्रपन्नः तस्यापवर्ग्यशरणं तव पादमूलं विस्मर्यते कृतविदा कथमार्तबन्धो. Which mean, salutations to you, the glorious Bhagavan, who having entered my heart has woken up my dormant speech and enlivened my hands, feet, ears and other sense organs. It is you alone, O God, who have evolved the Mahat Tattva and all others by your great Maya and entered them as their inner controller. You appear as many, though you are really one, just as fire appears diversified in different pieces of wood. Through the vision conferred by you, O Lord, Brahma, who sought refuge in you, saw this universe just as a person waking up from sleep sees the world around him. O friend of the afflicted, how can anyone, knowing your greatness, forget your lotus-like feet where liberated souls dwell? When extolled so enthusiastically by Dhruva, the god became pleased and said, "You will rule the earth for 36,000 years. After that, I grant you an everlasting abode which no one else has attained so far. All the planets, stars and other luminaries will be attached to this abode." King Uttanapada was very happy when he heard that Dhruva was returning home. Along with his wives and Uttama, he went to receive Dhruva. Dhruva bowed to his father. Suniti and Suruchi embraced him lovingly. Dhruva and Uttama hugged each other joyfully. Dhruva was placed on the top of an elephant along with Uttama, and he entered the city of Barhishmati, which was beautifully decorated for the occasion. People welcomed and showered flowers on Dhruva. Later the king made Dhruva the sovereign of the entire globe and departed to the forest for meditation. Dhruva married Brahmi, the daughter of Prajapati Shishumara, and Ila, the daughter of Vayu Bhagavan, and had 3 sons and 1 daughter. Uttama remained unmarried. During a hunting expedition in the Himalayas, a yaksha killed Uttama. This made his mother Suruchi very sad and she passed away. Dhruva was very angry with the yakshas for his brother's demise. He mounted his chariot and proceeded towards Alaka, the city of the yakshas, to fight with them. Dhruva reached Alaka and blew his conch. The demigods of Alaka attacked Dhruva with their weapons, but Dhruva easily vanquished them with his bow and arrows. Thousands of yakshas fiercely pounced on Dhruva from all directions. Dhruva, however, defeated all of them. Then the yakshas resorted to magic to delude Dhruva. The sages prayed for Dhruva's welfare. Dhruva then used a missile created by the sage Narayana, and all the magic of the Yakshas vanished and they were all defeated. Swayambhuva Manu, the grandfather of Dhruva, was very sad to see so many innocent Yakshas being killed. He arrived on the scene with many sages and requested Dhruva to stop fighting. It is not these Yakshas who killed your brother. God alone is responsible for a man's birth and death, he said. You have committed a great offense against Kubera, the Lord of riches, by killing all these Yakshas. Pacify him, said Swayambhuva Manu. And then Swayambhuva Manu left with other sages. Dhruva, respecting the words of his grandfather, immediately stopped the war. Soon, Kubera, along with other Charanas, Yakshas and Kinnaras, visited Dhruva. He said, O Dhruva, I am happy that you have stopped fighting on the advice of your grandfather. Ask for a boon. I want to remember Lord Hari constantly, said Dhruva. Kubera gladly conferred the boon on him and went away. Dhruva also returned to his capital, Barhishmati. He ruled over the globe for 36,000 years. Dhruva then gave the throne to his son Utkala and left for Vishala, the forest of Badarikashrama. There he bathed in Ganga, purified his mind, and sat down for meditation. He controlled his breath, withdrew his senses from the outside world, fixed his mind on the form of the God, and became engrossed in Samadhi. An aerial car descended from the heaven. Sunanda and Nanda, the two attendants of Lord Vishnu, arrived there to escort Dhruva to the Lord's abode. You have attained an abode which is difficult even for the enlightened sages to attain. We have come to escort you there, they said. Dhruva mounted the aerial car by placing his foot on the head of Mrityu, who arrived there. At that moment, heavenly drums sounded, Gandharvas sang, and a shower of flowers fell on Dhruva from above. When Dhruva remembered his mother Suniti, Vishnu's attendants showed him another aerial car in which Suniti was going ahead of him. Dhruva's car passed several planets, went beyond the three worlds and beyond the Saptarshi Mandala, and eventually reached the abode of Vishnu. Thus Dhruva, the son of Uttanapada, a great devotee of Lord Vishnu, shone as an eternal gem, the crown of the three worlds. Ityuttanapada putro Dhruva Krishna Parayanaha Abhutrayanam Lokanam Chudamaniriva Malaha. Bhagavatam, 4th Skanda, 12th Adhyaya, 38th verse.